Greetings all and welcome to the All Things Happy and Healthy vlog again this week. I'm your benevolent leader, El Grinnell, and this is part two of a pretty elaborate mindset on how you're failing your memory, not how your memory is failing you. And this is really very near and dear to my heart because I turned 60 this year, and I've had enough with people saying, well, at my age, or, when you get old, your memory fails you, and these are the things to expect as you age. And I'm just not a fan of that line of thinking. And memory loss is associated with aging. And I am a firm believer that this is not true, that it begins with people affirming that memory loss and age go hand in hand. Whereas in most cases, it's simply that you are continuing to say, oh, my memory is not that great. And the truth is, people young and old have memory lapses and forgetfulness and can't find things and all of that. It's not specific to you and your age. Okay, so I don't want to belabor the point, but as we move forward, it was too long of a subject for one. That's why I split it into two. So today we'll be talking about how to remember names and how to remember stories. Stories meaning, did you tell somebody that story already? And then dates like for assignments and stuff like that. Okay, so it's important, again, to revisit what I told you last week. Some of the things that I'm going to tell you today, you already know, but are you doing them? And that's the challenge, to apply these tools for a minimum of a week. 3 weeks would be great. 90 days would be super duper, so that they just become who you are. Adapt them, find the ones that work for you, and watch your memory improve dramatically, rapidly, and properly. Okay, so remember, knowledge is not power, applied knowledge is power. So here we go. First, let's talk about how to get better at names. So I'm sure you've heard all of this stuff before. Are you doing it? Are you using it? So I just met a fellow named Bill, and I was so excited about our conversation. So we introduced early on, and then we got into this amazing conversation that lasted an hour and a half. So when the conversation was over, I had no memory of what this gentleman's name was. So I said, hey, we just had such a great conversation that I forgot your name. Can you please remind me? Okay, now in hindsight, it would have said, we just had such a great conversation. Can you please remind me, right? Because we're working on the positive language, what your name is. Okay, so then he said, my name is Bill. Now it's on my shoulders to create a mnemonic of some sort to remember his name, because that's a very simple name. So, or common, I should say. So you would think that it would be easy to remember. But like I told you last week, our plates are overfull. And so right away in my brain, I created the mnemonic of, I'm a big fan of song lyrics. So I was like, Bill, I love you so, I always will. Okay, so I don't love this fella. I have no intention of marrying him, but you get the point. The song, every time I see him, will play in my memory, because I'm not just remembering the name, I'm remembering the experience. And then when I go on to tell people, oh, I met this great guy on the beach the other day, we had this amazing conversation. Don't say this great guy. What you want to do is replace that with, oh my gosh, I met this guy named Bill. And Bill and I had the most amazing conversation about. Okay, so those are two ways. Create a mnemonic, and then when you tell the story or share the story, use the person's name in the story. Avoid saying guy or gal or woman. It's going to make a huge difference, and it's really very easy. Okay, other ways you can create mnemonics is to make up, you could say BILL, in each of those letters could create a little story for you. So there's a lot of ways to create mnemonics, and I have a previous vlog on that as well. So take a look. Anyhow, so that's names. Number one, just slow down and be a good listener. Stop talking so much in your head about what you're going to say next, and really listen to this person. So when they say their name in the beginning, if you can in that moment, make a quick mnemonic about a way to remember it. Okay, so maybe Bill reminded me because he has maybe he had a large nose that reminded me of a bill on a bird, and so I was like, oh, Bill the bird, right? He doesn't have to know that, and it's not disrespectful. It's simply a mnemonic, a way to help you, because remembering people's names is so valuable. Okay, because our name is our very first label and one that goes with us mostly through life. Okay, moving on. Stories. Enough of that story. So, a lot of times people will say, "Oh, yeah, you told me that already." And it's kind of embarrassing when they say that, especially when it happens a lot. And you can't remember who you told the story to and who you haven't. And the reason is not because you have a bad memory, it's because we used to gather a lot. And in the gatherings, we would share our stories, and you would know that all of these people had heard this story because they were at the gathering. We don't do that so much anymore. And so you can't, it's harder to remember who you've told a story to and who you have not. And so rather than be embarrassed, or some people are too nice and they'll listen to a story from you more than once, and then they'll talk about you behind your back. About how you can't remember what you've told them. Okay, that's not true. It's not that you can't remember. The truth is that we don't gather as much. So we're telling our stories individually over and over and over again. So the solution to this is to simply ask for permission. Before you begin telling a story, so before I begin saying, "Oh my gosh, did I tell you about the guy Bill I met at the beach the other day?" And then they can say, "Oh yeah, you did. He's the one that's doing the investment stuff." And you, "Oh yeah, I did tell you that story." And that's it. There's nothing embarrassing about it. They'll be like, "Oh no." And now they're excited to hear the story because number one, you asked permission. And number two, they can hear the excitement and feel how much it means to you to share this information with them. So that's easy. To me, that's easy. It's just asking permission. And then the third one is remembering dates and assignments. Alrighty. As many of you know, I'm working on having a loving and kind relationship with technology. And I used to say technology hates me. And then I realized I'm not following my own advice. I'm affirming something that I don't want to be true. So now the truth is, dates and assignments is one of the areas where I love technology. I love telling my Alexa, set a reminder for 5:30 p.m. to call Mary. I love telling my any of my AI or putting it on my phone or wherever it might be, whatever you like to do, your electronic date book, you can physically also jot it down. I'm a huge fan of pen to paper, and I'm going to ask you to go one step farther and use technology for dates and assignments. You can put something into the way into the future with AI, right? So I can say, "Alexa, set a reminder for February 22nd, 2023." And then they'll say, "What's the reminder?" And I'll say, "Make sure to sing happy birthday to my best friend." And you'll get that reminder. So there's no reason to keep it on our overcrowded plate when you can pass it on, when you can delegate. So AI, artificial intelligence, and technology is the best, the easiest, the fastest. And yeah, sometimes things get lost and sometimes we lose the phone or whatever might happen. But that's why you're going to layer it. Pen and paper, love written date books, but then also put it into the cloud or technology or AI or whatever it is that you enjoy using and that is easy for you. All right, so for me, it's Alexa. But for everybody, there's something, and I know you know what it is, and I know you've used it. However, if I'm wrong in my knowledge, then begin finding something that's easy for you to use. And a good way to do this is to ask your friends, what kind of technology do they use? What kind of AI do they use? And just begin doing that. It's kind of like what I talked about last week. It's that second layer. And those things will help you remember dates and assignments. And remember to reverse engineer your assignments, right? So get all those dates backed up from the future when they're due to what that means today or tomorrow. And then again, I'm offering a bonus. I have a bonus secret memory tip technique to share with you. All you have to do is hop on my calendar. It's in the notes below, or you can email me info@truespeak.us and say, "I'd love to hop on your calendar," or you could text me at 808-201-1140. That's 808-201-1140, and say, let's chat, and I'll get you on my schedule, because I promise you that with 30 minutes with me or less, we can begin increasing your memory rapidly and properly on a regular basis. You deserve to know that you have a good memory. You deserve to have that memory serve you every time you need it to. And I want that for you as well. But I'm leaving it up to you to do all of these 1, 2, 3s. And it's much easier if you connect with me and create a plan of action. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to more time with you again next week. So until then, top of mind, best of mind, all good thoughts and memories for you. And aloha. See you again soon. Hey.